Hey, I'm Michael Coker, Mayor of the City of Mulberry, and today I'm going to give you some updates of what's been happening with our City Council. So if maybe you've missed the last couple meetings and you want to know what's been going on, this video is going to tell you everything that you need to know. Stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about what's been happening at the City Council over the last couple months. So I'm recording this in September, so we're going to talk a little bit about what the City Council's been up to over the summer, kind of how things are changed, and some of the things that have been moving forward within the city. So the first thing that you need to know is that the City of Mulberry is now basically taking applications for rezonings or changes of conditions on property. So we have started hearing zoning cases, making decisions on people who want to change their property. Maybe they want to change the zoning to build a commercial property, or maybe they want to change the zoning to build a house. And so we've started that process of hearing those kind of cases. And so if that's something that interests you of what's going to be built in the city, what's kind of going to be built around my specific neighborhood, then watching city council meetings from this point forward is probably something that you want to do to stay in the know. And you can watch all our city council meetings on our YouTube channel. So we stream them live on YouTube, and then they're ultimately posted after the meeting's over. So even if you can't make it to the meeting in person, we want to make sure that everybody who wants to know what's happening at City Hall gets to know what's happening at City Hall. And so that's something that we ultimately need to convey to you, is that definitely stay informed, stay up to date, because if there's a rezoning or something coming up that maybe you're passionate about, we offer public comments for every one of the rezoning cases. And so we want to hear from people that are for the rezoning, people that are against it. And so we want you to stand up and tell us how you feel, because just like you, we're neighbors in the community. And so we want to know what your opinion is on certain things, how you feel about certain aspects of those rezoning. And so we encourage you to come and give a public comment and kind of learn more about what's going to be built in the city. And so every meeting, if you want to know what's going to be up at that particular meeting, what rezoning items are on there, you're going to want to check our agenda. So we post the agenda ahead of time, and it lists all the applications for rezonings that are coming up before us that meeting. And so that's definitely a big thing that's happening in the city of Mulberry, because when Mulberry was created, that's what people said, is that they wanted more local control over planning and zoning of what gets built in our area. Now, I do want to address, there are a couple big developments that you might have seen some major tree clearing lately on some of the developments at, let's say, 124 and Mount Moriah. There was some major tree clearing at 124, kind of just after Spout Springs Road, kind of across from the Huntington West subdivision. Those were two developments that Gwinnett County had already approved. So those were not from the city of Mulberry. Those were not ones that we had approved. So those have been approved a long time before Mulberry was even created. And so I just want to make that clear. Also, there's a development over by Steckinger High School that is being cleared. It's not the Jackson EMC property, but it's a different one. That also was approved before Mulberry was in existence. But anything you may see kind of moving forward, if you're concerned or you have any thoughts about anything that's going on in Mulberry, again, check the meeting agendas, check the meetings, come and learn more about what's happening within the city as far as from a planning and zoning standpoint goes. While we're on the topic of planning and zoning, Mulberry's Planning Commission is up and running. The Planning Commission makes recommendations to the Mulberry City Council of what should or should not be approved, or if any of the applications should have changes to make them more fit better with our vision of what Mulberry should be. But we also now have meetings of our Zoning Board of Appeals. And the Zoning Board of Appeals hears cases of individuals who want variances. They heard one recently for the month of September of an individual who wanted to add an addition, like an in-law suite to his or her house, so that, maybe an elderly family could move in or something like that. And so there was going to be some setback changes, and so they asked for a variance for the Zoning Board of Appeals. So you have three governing bodies in the city of Mulberry that are meeting right now: the City Council, the Planning Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. So all three of those are hard at work making sure that any changes or any developments fits our quality of life and what the vision that we have for Mulberry. So that's a huge update of what's going on, is that we are all in. Planning and zoning is all going, and we are hearing applications, and we want to hear your input on those things. Another thing that you may want to know is we have really at Mulberry at the City Council tried to be committed to the people in our community and what they want and what their vision is. And so, for example, we had a Georgia State student who came and talked about a citywide bee initiative of how we can continue to make Mulberry friendly towards bees. And she did a great job presenting to the City Council and talking about the importance of bees in our food supply and for the farmers that we have in Mulberry, and certain steps that we can take as a city to make sure that we encourage this bee population for our food production and for our farmers. And so we've been listening to that. We've been working with her on different aspects of that. And so we've tried to, again, continue to be in tune to things that maybe we're not experts on, right? Of people who can come and can talk to us about different things that we can do to ensure that Mulberry is sustainable and continues for quite some time. The other thing is that the Mulberry City Court is completely up and running. So we have heard if there's any individuals that have code violations. Obviously, we try to work with those individuals first and try to make sure that we can maybe come to some agreement or correct some issues. But if we're not able to come to an agreement, the court system is open. And so these individuals have the ability to come before the City of Mulberry municipal judges, explain their situation, have their case heard, and have it resolved through our court system. So the court system is completely up and running. We have two fabulous judges that are doing a phenomenal job of helping us throughout the court system of our city. We've also been doing some unique things in the city that you're going to start to see around town. First, as you may or may not have heard, we have already outgrown our city hall space. So we are, 9 months in right now, and we've already outgrown our city hall. And so we are actually moving across the street from one office suite to another to a much larger space. It's going to give us a much larger chambers where we can conduct city council meetings, so we don't have to worry about people standing in the back, or it's going to have much more seats, much more availability for people. That's a really exciting update that we're super excited about, because obviously the community response at our city council meetings have been overwhelming, and we appreciate that. People who want to come, who want to be involved, who want to speak with us, talk about how we can better our city and our community. And so we are moving across Terran Trace, just directly across the street, to a new space, much larger, much better ability to serve you in our council chamber, so we can have more people present and still feel comfortable in that space. So that's a huge update. Also, as you may or may not have heard, we have hired the chief of the Mulberry Marshal Department. So the Marshals Department is going to be under code enforcement. And so you might very soon see people driving around, Mulberry Marshals, enforcing our ordinances, enforcing our codes, and just going to be that added layer of public safety and security that we're going to have out there to make sure that the community stays safe and looks nice and continues to be what we want it to be. And so those code enforcement officers, you might start to see them pop up, or maybe even see some Mulberry Marshal vehicles driving around. And so you might see those around. And again, those will be our code enforcement officers that will enforce our city ordinances. And so those are all interesting and really fun and exciting things that we have going on in the city. And so I would definitely be on the lookout for those Mulberry Marshals. We would expect maybe by the end of the year, you might maybe start to see some of them driving around. But we are very excited to have our chief who came to us. He was the chief of police at the city of Woodstock, but he is now going to help us start the Marshal Department, and we will have our official Mulberry Marshals. And so I'm very, very excited about that. That is something that I cannot wait for, and I can't wait for the constituents to see those marshals driving around our city. And I think that's going to be something most people aren't going to know. And so if you're watching this podcast, you're on the inside, you know the secret before everybody else. So you can tell your friends when you start to see those marshals out and about, when you start to see the cars, then you'll know, hey, That's the Mulberry's Marshals. I heard about that on Coker on the Record. So you definitely want to keep following us, definitely keep listening to these updates and learning more. So that's kind of a basic overview of what's been going on with Mulberry. We've got the Planning and Zoning Department up and running. You've got the meetings of the Planning Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Council. You've heard about some bee initiatives that we've been working on with some of our local college students. You've heard about how we're moving across the street to a much bigger space that'll be much more comfortable for our city council meetings. And you've got the secret information about the Mulberry Marshals Department, which is getting started, that you're hopefully going to see driving around very soon. So if you like getting these updates, these super secret information from the inside, definitely like and subscribe to these so that you can be the first one to get the updates. I appreciate everyone in the community and what they're doing to support the Mulberry City Council and our city and our staff. We have a phenomenal staff at the city. We are very lucky to have City Manager Jamie Palmer, Kelly Cash, our operations manager. We have a phenomenal team that's doing a great job, and we should be very proud of the work that they're doing. So if you want to continue to get these updates, again, like and subscribe. But until then, we'll see you next time.